Hi, welcome to 2 million views. In today's video, we are going to look into a 2003 movie, titled, Kill Bill. Trigger warning, spoilers ahead. Heads up and stay safe. The movie starts with a woman in a wedding dress, known as the bride, sobbing and covered in blood as an unidentified man approaches her and claims that she understands why he wants to kill her. She tries to convince the unknown man, who is said to be Bill by name, that she is carrying his child, but when he doesn't listen, he shoots her in the head and believes she is dead. The bride, also known as Black Mamba, has been in a coma for 4 years, and she is now driven by an unquenchable need for vengeance against Bill, the head of the deadly Viper Assassination Squad, and his other team members. She swears to seek vengeance on everyone who caused the death of her unborn child and otherwise messed up her life. Black Mamba was formerly a member of the deadly Viper Assassination Squad as well as an assassin. Black Mamba, the bride, approaches a home and rings the doorbell. The woman behind the door is surprised to see the bride alive as soon as it opens. The bride immediately experiences a flashback in which she learns that the woman was a member of the squad that had previously attacked and left her for dead. Vanita Green is the name of the woman. The two get into a hand-to-hand combat that leaves Vanita's living room in ruins. They put an end to their altercation and hide their weapons behind their backs. When Nikki, Vanita's kid, gets home from school, Nikki wonders why the house is in such a mess. Nikki then advises her daughter, Vanita, to go upstairs to her room after she informed her that their dog was responsible for all the mess. When Vanita asks the bride if she would like a cup of coffee, the bride says yes. Vanita then apologizes for her actions in the past and tells the bride that she has changed and that she now has a family. The bride won't accept her apology, so Vanita is now suggesting that they meet that night to finally resolve the situation. That is accepted by the bride. They then engage in a pleasant discussion before Vanita pretends to be making lunch for her daughter while attempting to shoot the bride with a concealed weapon hidden in a cereal box. However, she is missed. She is fatally stabbed in the chest by the bride in an instant. Nikki sees the killing of her mother and is informed by the bride that she will be waiting for her if she ever wants to take vengeance for her mother. The bride steps outside and gets into a pickup. Then, pulling out her notebook, she struck off Vanita's name from the previously written deceased list. Second on the list was Vanita. The name that was first written had already been cancelled. The 4-year-old tragedy is revealed in a flashback. In a church in the city of Texas, the bride was shot 4 years ago. 9 persons passed away. The city's sheriff visited the chapel where the crime was conducted to witness the killings. The sheriff tells his deputy that this was professional work and explains why he believes so by pointing out how clean the job was. Otherwise, he would have assumed it was the Mexican mafia. When the sheriff gets closer to the dead who are lying on the ground, he discovers that the bride is still alive. She was then brought to a hospital. She arrived and immediately fell into a coma. Ellie Driver paid a visit to the hospital where the bride is receiving treatment. She pretended to be a nurse and tried to inject the fatal poison into her. However, she was halted when Bill called and told her to cancel the mission since killing her while she was sleeping was beneath him and he had even worse plans for her. One of the killers in the deadly Viper Assassination Squad is Ellie Driver. She stands out since she has an eye patch on. The bride awakens terrified by what happened 4 years later. When she discovered she had lost her baby, she broke down in tears. She heard a footstep approaching her room as she was crying. She put on a sleeping face. Buck entered the facility with a middle-aged male. The other man pays Buck $75 to sleep with her and tells him that she has a damaged womb, so he doesn't have to worry about getting pregnant. Buck informed him of this and then walked out the door. She grabbed and murdered the man as he drew near to her. When Buck entered the room again, he discovered the man's lifeless body there. She is reminded of Buck's past rape of her sick body when she sees him. She killed him too after questioning him. She also takes his truck's keys and his clothes. It took her 13 hours to retrain herself to walk by wiggling her toes one at a time after she was inside the truck. She started her car and sped off after deciding to take revenge on all 5 members of the deadly Viper Assassination Squad. Oren Ishii was the simplest to find, so she made the decision to pursue her. Oren was born in Tokyo, Japan, on a post for American troops. She became acquainted with death for the first time when she was 9 years old. She is a half-Japanese, half-Chinese American Army brat. When she was so young, she saw her parents being murdered by the most vicious lord in Japan, Yakuza. She vowed to do vengeance afterward. Fortunately for her, he developed a negative interest in children. She exacted retribution at age 11. She was among the best female assassins in the world by the age of 20. In a modest wedding chapel in El Paso, Texas, she participated in the murder of 9 innocent people at age 25, including the bride's unborn child. But she made one significant error on that day, 4 years ago. She ought to have murdered 10. The bride flies to Japan's Okinawa. She visited a bar where she met the bar's owner, a Japanese man. He extended a seat to her and instructed his staff to serve her tea. They communicates when she takes a seat. She should study more about Japanese culture, he advised, adding that she has a strong pronunciation of the language. He continues by inquiring as to her purpose for being here. She explains to him that she have come to meet a man and that she was unfamiliar with him. The Japanese guy inquires about the man's identity. Hattori Hanzo was her response. The man was astonished to learn this name and inquired as to why she desired him. She says that in order to exterminate vermin, she needs a sword. It turned out to be Hattori Hanzo, who was the Japanese man in the pub. He led her upstairs after that so she could see his collection of swords. His collection captures her attention. She was brandishing a sword in her hands. She split a baseball that he had thrown at her in half. After seeing her slice the baseball, he quickly understands why she is there and informs her that he would not create her a sword. Then, after asking him to sell her one, he replies that he does not sell swords. After learning that she intends to use the sword to kill Bill, a former student of his, he now changes his mind and decides to create a sword for her. He finishes the sword after a month and tells her that it is the first one he had created in 20 years and that it is his best sword yet. She hears him tell her that it can cut through anything. She gives him thanks and chooses to pursue Oren. Bill supports his Nippon progeny financially and intellectually in her Shakespearean-scale power fight with the other Yakuza clans over who would dominate vice in the city of Tokyo, which occurred 1 year after the massacre in El Paso, Texas. When the last blade is drawn, Orenashi and her formidable posse, the Crazy 88, showed that they had won. Oren's closest friend and legal counsel is Sophie Fatal. She had previously studied with Bill's. The bodyguard for Oren is Gogo a Barrack Zero. She kills people for no apparent cause and is a very psychotic 17-year-old girl. The leader of Crazy 88's security crew is Johnny M.O. As promised by boss Tanaka, Oreni is currently in charge of the crime council. As she ascends to power, he accuses her of disrespecting their ancestors by choosing to be the clan's leader because she is not full-blood like him and his fellow council members and does not deserve to reign. He was promptly murdered by Oren, who also forbade the other group members from bringing up her mixed-race heritage, half Chinese, half Japanese, and half American, for fear of meeting Tanaka's destiny. The bride boards a plane for Tokyo, where she locates Oren at her hangout spot, known as the Blue Leaves. The bride remembers Sophie's cell phone ringtone in the restroom since it was the same one that she had when she was at the slaughter. The bride chops Sophie's arm and calls Oren's name before challenging her to a duel. Gogo and the Crazy 88, Oren's personal army, is ordered to defeat the bride. The bride and the entire Crazy 88 engages in a fierce fight, but nobody could win. She is furious. Without a shred of mercy, she chopped every single member of the group. The bride then confronted Oren in the club's snowy yard. After a brief struggle, the bride cut Oren's head's top. The bride tells Sophie that there are 2 reasons why she is still alive after killing Oren. To provide information is the first. She tortures Sophie in an effort to learn more about the other assassins on the Deadly Viper team. And Sophie provides her with all the information she requires. Then she tells her that she is kept alive so that she could tell Bill what had happened and that she was coming for them all. She left her off at a neighboring hospital after telling her. Sophie tells Bill everything that happened and why she is kept alive when he visits her. When Bill asks Sophie if the Black Mamba is aware that her baby is still alive, the film comes to a close. What a turn, you say? There is a sequel to this film. Please let us know in the comments if you would like to watch a recap of it. I'll be back soon with another interesting movie review, similar to this one. Until then, watch out and stay safe.